Ansible handler is for control the task and manage state with condition. For example, you may want to restart a service if a task updates the configuration of that service, but not if the configuration is unchanged. Ansible uses handlers to address this use case. Handlers are tasks that only run when notified. Each handler should have a globally unique name. Handlers always run in the order they are defined, not in the order listed in the notify statement. This is also the case for handlers using listen. Handler names and listen topics live in a global namespace. Handler names are templatable and listen topics are not. Use unique handler names. If you trigger more than one handler with the same name, the first ones get overwritten. Only the last one defined will run. You can notify a handler defined inside a static include. You cannot notify a handler defined inside a dynamic include. We will write a playbook Ansible handlers.yml to install HTTPD package and then use a handler to start the HTTPD service. This handler will be executed only when change is made, i.e. the dependent task reports changed equals 1 or higher value. Note: you have to take care of the indentation for handlers as it should start from the same line as your task. Flush handlers and control when handler runs. By default, handlers run after all the tasks in a particular play have been completed. This approach is efficient, because the handler only runs once, regardless of how many tasks notify it. For example, if multiple tasks update a configuration file and notify a handler to restart Apache, Ansible only bounces Apache once to avoid unnecessary restarts. In this sample playbook I have two tasks which will print some text on the console using debug module. I have also added one handler which will provide the date and time of execution. Now I am calling this handler from both the tasks. Let's verify the output if the handler is executed for both the tasks. So, the handler was called only once irrespective of the fact that both the tasks were calling the handler. Now this is the default behavior, but if you need handlers to run before the end of the play, add a task to flush them using the meta module, which executes Ansible actions. I have updated my playbook to perform sleep on the remote server and then observe the time with the handler to make sure we have new instance of handler being executed after every task. So now our handler has executed 3 times because we were flushing the handler after every task execution, and the time of the handler execution is also different, so life is good. Here my first task will sleep for 2 minutes and then execute the handler. Then we flush the handler and call the second task which will sleep for 5 seconds and call the handler. Then we will again flush the handler and sleep for another 7 seconds before calling the handler for third time. In the handler I have used staff time from our Ginger syntax to get the time of execution for the handler. Using variables with handlers. You may want your Ansible handlers to use variables. For example, if the name of a service varies slightly by distribution, you want your output to show the exact name of the restarted service for each target machine. Avoid placing variables in the name of the handler. Since handler names are templated early on, Ansible may not have a value available for a handler name like this. If the variable used in the handler name is not available, the entire play fails. Changing that variable mid-play will not result in newly created handler. So, we should always use a default variable when in such scenarios as I have used in the sample playbook. Now I have defined a package variable, but if for some reason handlers fails to get this value, then it will consider the default variable value instead of failing the entire play. So our playbook was successfully executed the task and the handler. Ansible handler is an important feature and topic which an Ansible practitioner should learn and imbibe substantially. This makes the decision-making tasks easier. Using handlers with other Ansible features like conditions, facts, roles, etc. makes it more useful for production environment.